excited. I think it's gonna be good.
Hey guys, my name is Shawn and this is another episode of Dangerous Ideas, episode number 7. We made it to 7. In this podcast, what we do is we break down concepts and frameworks that will change your life, change your business, but most importantly, change your life. And I'm really excited. I got some returning guests here in the building. We got Mo and Navin.
Appreciate you again, man.
Thank you for having us.
It's the first time we're on a podcast.
I know, I think so. Yeah,
it's cool.
and guys, I've been really, this is one of the most. I love this pod because number one, it's an excuse to chat with some of my favorite people, and number two, not only can we do that, but we can change people's lives with some of these concepts and frameworks.
Exactly.
And guess what?
100.
I'm gonna. I know we're already at episode 7.
I know.
I know. What? I'm excited.
I already know you're gonna drop some bombs already.
No. I'm excited because one of the things that we talked about in one of the earlier episodes was this idea of a one-person, $1 billion business. This idea that the power has shifted to the individual. You guys know that I'm on this on this tip. And what happened last week was this coming into fruition. Messi signing a deal.
The GOAT.
The GOAT, undeniably now, I guess, signing a deal
That's right.
with Inter Miami. And what's interesting about this deal is that he didn't just get a check from Inter Miami.
Nope.
He got a revenue share with Apple and a revenue share with Adidas and an option to buy a team later. Mm-hmm. And so this is basically the Michael Jordan playbook of him getting a percentage of the shoe deal that made him a billionaire. This is the 2023 version of it. And as context, he got a $1.6 billion deal from the Saudis that he turned down.
Just nuts.
So $1.6 billion for like 3 or 4 years for one person. That's $500 million a year. One person, $1 billion organization that is Messi. So what do you guys think about this? I'm gonna tell you why this is the one person, $1 billion. But just natural thoughts because you just saw you were with
you were
with
PSG
Messi
baby.
last week.
We were just.
His last
I feel so like. First of all, I asked you.
Yes.
We weren't gonna go to the game because I wasn't sure if Messi was gonna play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I was texting this guy. I was like, "Yo, what do you think? This is the last game. Who's playing? What's happening in the world of soccer?" He gave me like this nice two paragraph text.
I gave him a full rundown.
And basically was like, bro, like buy the tickets. So me and Am bought him that night, thanks to you. It ended up being the craziest soccer game I've ever been to. Messi's last game. He actually played kind of like bad.
Yeah, he missed
like some terrible shots.
He had such a great.
But to see him like, he's like, when he was like, he's like, that's how close she is.
Wow.
Or he was, right? And I'm just like, whoa, like that's Messi. And then Mbappe's next to him. Then you have Sergio Ramos who played his last game.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, this is crazy.
Yeah, and like they already won the league, so it was celebration mode in a way.
Yeah, so they won the league. Then I think they spent $3 million literally on fireworks after the game.
Wow.
It was the craziest show ever. But anyways, I want to pass it to him first.
Yeah,
to answer this question because he's the biggest Messi fan in the world.
100%.
Man, this guy is undeniably the GOAT. Like he completed football. Like there's nothing else he can do that would put him on like the greatest of ever time. Obviously, there's debates about whatever, but in terms of the deal, I think this is the smartest move. Like I didn't even see that coming. I thought he was gonna go back to Barcelona because it was just like he left off at a terrible way to leave. He didn't get a proper send off. The only Barca player who've ever played like the most games. He's literally like a Barca not beyond legend. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, what the hell? Inter Miami? What the hell is he doing? And then all of a sudden those things came out, like started like rolling out, and I was like, okay, this makes way more sense. Like they literally like MLS changed. Like there's no deal. Like there's actually a cap of salary that they're changing it just for Messi.
Yep. Is that right?
Yes, 100%. And then obviously like because Apple has the rights to the MLS. And then also, Apple's actually doing a 4-part documentary series on Messi that's going to be releasing soon.
Oh my God.
It's like
So much.
There's so much going on that I think in the long term, it is the smartest play to ever make it. And yes, he will be the $1 billion, even beyond that.
And it makes a lot of sense because if you think about it, Messi is he's the distribution.
Oh, 100%.
He's the equity. He's the content creator.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And because of that, he's getting a percentage
Yep.
of the royalties from Adidas
Everything, pretty much.
and Apple.
Like the Messi effect is already so crazy. All of the games for MLS for Inter Miami are sold out.
The Instagram went up by like
Instagram now.
What is it today?
It's now it's actually more than any of the major teams in Miami.
Of course. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Miami
Are you
Yeah,
Heat.
serious?
even
More
more
than
than
the
Miami Heat, more than Miami Heat, and by the way, they're last in their Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
Inter
they have a
Miami
good- yeah.
is currently in last place.
That's incredible.
Like they're not even like.
That's the effect, man.
There's just so much. Like we're talking about like a player who is beyond like he's.
And-
You know,
By the way, it's not like
I don't know how to say it.
He's at the end of his career, and
Yep.
he's getting
Yep.
this.
Getting
bag.
this exactly.
yeah, but just don't get it twisted. Yeah, it is at the end of his career, but he literally just won the World Cup like you know 6 months ago.
He's also coming to play like
and
a
he
league
won
down.
and he
Right.
won the player of the whole tournament. So
Yeah.
like yes, he's not at his prime. He's not like prime Messi, but he's still very influential. Like he still has a couple of years left in him to like prove something.
So Navin, is this the beginning of this whole trend? Like, you're the sports connoisseur on this pod.
Thank you. Wow.
Is this the beginning of the trend where players will not only demand a salary, but they will demand equity in that's basic. Short of asking for
Yeah.
equity in Inter Miami,
Yeah.
he basically got equity in
100%.
MLS.
And everything. Yeah, I think this shift is coming, and it's been coming. We've seen it in the past too, but I don't think it's going to be as often as we think because you have to be a generational talent like Messi. Like I'm surprised we didn't see something like this with Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Right? He went to Saudi. I think he just took the money because the cash was there. But what was interesting about the MLS deal, and correct me if I'm wrong because you probably know more about it, is like all the MLS teams did this. Right? They all came together to put money in to get Messi
Yeah.
because every team is going to benefit
Yeah.
from it.
Oh, I did not know.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
just Inter Miami. All the teams
Yeah.
said, okay, he's going to go play for Beckham in
Yeah.
Miami, but we're all putting, they put a lot of money each
Yeah.
team up.
Yeah. And I believe like technically the term is not out yet, like the official thing, but I think he can buy into any
Yes.
team.
Yeah, okay.
Not just Inter Miami. Like he can own any percentage. We don't even know if it's like it's not going to be like something small either. It's not going to be like 5% or 10%. It's going to be a substantial amount. Like he's going to be.
So do you think that he is going to be able to replicate the 1.6 billion? Because we don't know the inner
Yeah.
workings of the Apple or Adidas
Yeah.
deal. But do you think he'll be able to match or like over exceed the 1.6 bill that the Saudis offered him?
I think so over
Yeah,
time.
over time,
Because,
yeah.
I mean, look at Beckham's team. He bought that team for 25
Yeah,
million.
that's
Now it's
crazy.
worth 550 mil.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Bro, it's Messi.
Yeah.
It's funny because and maybe every single time where you see people say, actually, I want the back end, or I want the equity, or I want the royalties, it always works out in spades. Beckham, 25 mil, the thing is worth 500 million.
Yeah.
I remember somebody telling me about Robert Downey Jr. For Iron Man, he asked for like the back end royalties instead of getting
Yeah.
paid like
I've heard
a
that
bag
a
up
few
front.
times from
Oh, I didn't even
And
know that.
like he's like
He's
he
laughing.
he
Oh, yeah.
he made that entire franchise.
Doesn't mean to act anymore.
Totally.
Well, he doesn't. He doesn't act anymore, I don't think.
So I think this is going to create a cascade for other elite stars to
Yeah.
go off and try to get equity. But also there's going to be a downside because I think a lot of people could be like, well, listen, I'm huge too. Get me equity. Everybody will want equity and learn that that is how you get money.
What's interesting about it though is like in comparison to Michael Jordan was at the beginning of his career.
Yes.
When he got the equity.
Well, not
versus-
equity, but he got
the-
like a
the
shares?
revenue share.
Rev share. Yeah.
Shares, yeah.
Which is what Messi has right now, but Messi's doing it at the end of his career. So, like, do you think like there's like how do you know? Like, how do you know that this like
Well, Nike took the biggest risk of all time. It just paid off, right? Like
100%.
with Jordan. That's why I think it's going to happen
Yeah.
more towards the end.
yeah
And even Benzema.
yeah
He just signed 600 million in Saudi Arabia, another
Yep.
big soccer player.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't hear anything about equity
No.
or anything past. I just heard a salary.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so interested in,
yeah
you know?
Well, listen, if Saudi Arabia, if you're listening, I'm here. If
No, we're
you
all
want
here.
we got Sheikh Kanungo,
yeah,
Sheikh Ramhara,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Sheikh Mahfouz here.
No, but the Saudis, by the way, they are throwing their
Oh, man.
their money around, and
Yeah.
one of the interesting things about that entire thing is that they're basically buying culture. I put out this tweet that I
Yeah.
believe that that the next investments that they should make are obviously they've been investing in sports. They They got Ronaldo. They've been investing in obviously the PGA. That was a huge thing last week. But I think the next people that they should be targeting the Kardashians, The Rock, the Nelk Boys, the Kardashians. Fuck Drake. Buy Drake. The Saudis, if you want culture, buy Drake.
Straight up.
The steak bought Drake. The Saudis should buy Drake if you want culture. And I just think that's such an interesting move that they're buying culture.
I think it's smart because like that's where everything's going. Like all the next generation, our generation, where do we tend to go towards? People who control culture, control eyeballs, music, hip hop, fashion.
Yep.
I think they're just smart, honestly, and they got so much money out there.
That's right.
Yeah. It's kind of like
if you were the Saudi investment fund, public investment fund, PIF, it's called. Who would be the next league or person that you would buy into? Obviously, they did the PGA deal. Obviously, they try to get Messi. Who else would you get?
I think for me it would be the NBA because I feel like that's like the best league.
But you can't buy. The
or
NBA.
NFL. I mean, why not?
I don't know.
I thought we couldn't buy the PGA, and then then they turned around and they sold themselves.
That's true.
So I mean, like money talks.
I mean, technically, the UAE owns Man City, who just won the treble, Champions League, FA Cup, Premier League, and that went from like also a lucrative like they bought it 10 years ago, and now it's like worth crazy amounts. So I feel like the Middle East just has so much money. They're like, we're so bored. What do we want to spend it on? but you're right. Like they're gonna be spending money on. I say outside of sports, it has to be like art, like people, music.
Yep.
I think music has such a big influence.
It does.
More than film in a way, because it's easy, accessible. It's like world like.
100%.
You're right. I think Drake. Like you look at the top. Like you look at the top.
Ice Spice.
Ice Spice, hey, up and coming.
She's taking over the world right now. Man. I don't care.
Emerging artist. No, so it's really interesting, and I go back to the idea that I've been preaching that there is going to be a one-person, $1 billion organization, and I don't even have to say what will be. It's here. It's already here.
Yep.
You can see it with Messi.
Yeah,
he is a billionaire, and he's one person getting deals, and it just goes to show that attention, distribution, content matters. It is the most important currency today. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to, every 10 episodes, I'm just going to double down on this concept.
Double down. Yeah.
I'm going to double down on this concept. So the next thing that I want to talk about is what I call the Tim Duncan problem. Okay, the Tim Duncan problem. If you don't know who Tim Duncan is, Tim Duncan played for the San Antonio Spurs his entire career, won a whole bunch of championships, was one of the great athletes within the NBA ever. Like, people would put him in the top 10. But the reason why he doesn't get the love that he does, the reason why he doesn't get the kudos that he does is because he didn't have a personality. And I see last night, Nikola Jokic won. They just won the championship with the Nuggets, and Jokic is very similar to Tim Duncan. And Jokic is going to be one of the greatest players that we've ever seen in the NBA. But I feel that his legacy will get hurt because he's boring as fuck.
100%.
Okay, and it's unfortunate that is the case. So before I get into this entire topic, the reason why I'm bringing this up as a Tim Duncan problem, this is not just an NBA problem. This is just a world problem together. The reason why this is an important concept is that actually showcasing your personality, showcasing who you are in whatever field that you're in, actually elevates you as a performer, as an artist, as a creative, as an accountant, whatever. The work is not just the work. People don't just value for your work. People value for your energy, your aura. Yeah. And unfortunately with Tim Duncan, he doesn't have that sauce. No. Neither does Nikola Jokic. So
I don't know if you heard the same podcast with JJ Redick and Gilbert Arenas.
No.
So I was just playing it this morning, literally. So it's great you said that. And they were talking about the exact same concept. Nikola will be one of the greatest players to ever play. But the kids don't want to watch him play. And in general, nobody actually really wants to watch them play, or the Denver Nuggets. But they want to watch Ja Morant. They want to watch Kyrie because they're exciting. Yes. They're fun. Look at all the stuff going on with Ja. Like, it's bad stuff, but people are gravitating towards that because he's in the headlines.
Yes.
He's becoming relevant. Nikola is a great guy. First thing he said was like, I want to go home.
Yeah. And you know what I texted my friends?
First thing he said, bro, I want to go home.
Do you know what I texted my friends last night? I said to my friends last night, Jokic looks so unhappy.
Yes.
And I was happy for him that he won, but the fact that he looks so unhappy, I am no longer happy for him.
Exactly. It takes the joy out of it from the fans. Like they're drinking champagne and he's just like in the background, like literally no emotion, bro.
Yeah, and,
It's like an
and
NPC
listen,
mode.
Yeah, it's NPC mode. Yeah.
and maybe that's how he does his thing. Okay, listen, he won the championship. He can do whatever he wants. He doesn't have to cheer. But it would be nice as a fan to see that.
Yeah.
When Giannis won, we were
Yeah.
all so happy for Giannis.
Yeah.
Whether you were a Giannis fan or not, you were happy for him. He was a motivational figure. He had
Yeah.
all these amazing press conferences. You were happy for him. And it goes back to the idea of the Tim Duncan effect. The idea that, unfortunately, your standing in life will get hurt if you don't share your personality.
Yeah. What's crazy is like,
Or if you don't have a personality.
for people like him and Tim, I think they're anomalies because they're different. They probably actually genuinely don't care. But it's funny to think if he was to create content or just be funny or be a personality, his net worth would probably 10x.
Oh, yeah.
And he probably would be like $1 billion basketball player.
100%.
But he doesn't care. He wants to just go back home.
Connor McDavid, the same
chill.
guy.
Yeah,
Same
yeah. I
guy.
was
Same
just
exact
gonna
problem.
say.
Don't care about him
I just
either.
wasn't gonna say that. It's super boring.
So-
like,
And it's like sucks.
yeah, because
He's so good at hockey,
Yeah.
man. Like,
but then again, NHL is also like fifth probably in all other
yeah,
sports.
NHL's way down there
Yeah, it's way down there
in popularity.
Yeah, if you compare it to like NFL and
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but I will say though, like for example, Messi is an anomaly because he's actually not really an exciting person. Like he's a very quiet guy.
but his game is exciting.
But his game is so exciting that's what elevates him. But in terms of personality, like online on content or whatever, it just doesn't really exist. But
I would say Ronaldo, who's obviously a bigger celebrity than
bigger. I think he's bigger.
He's also not a personality. I don't see him a personality. He looks good. Like he's a great looking
Yeah.
He's a great
That's his
looking
main
guy. And and Beckham as well wasn't a great personality, but he was a great looking guy too. Great hair,
Yeah.
etc. But
They're confident
they
too.
understood how to
Totally.
navigate
Oh,
the
100%.
entire media landscape, right?
Yeah, I mean, like when Beckham moved to MLS, it wasn't like because he was like, yeah, he was like one of the best, but the effect of him being a celebrity was more impactful than like him being a soccer player.
Definitely.
Versus like the Messi effect's gonna be completely different. It's gonna change MLS in a way. But anyways, back to like the whole Jokic thing. I mean, I don't follow basketball that heavily, but I watched a couple of games and you can just tell like this guy, he's playing a basketball, but I didn't find him like a interesting character to be like, oh, like because usually you look at the superstars like, oh, who's like the main person in the team, but he kind of was just just
He's just
chilling.
hanging out.
Yeah, just chilling.
He's just so good, to be
He's a really good player, but
And you look at Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
He's exciting player, but he was crying. He had so much emotion. Like,
Yeah.
And also he's Canadian, so we're rooting for him. But like, you feel more when you see that on
Yeah.
TV, right? Like how hard they worked. He's crying towards ACL 2 years ago. The triumphant story of coming back.
Yes.
But then you got Jokic on the flip side, just like, literally, I want to go home.
So I guess I want to dial this back to the person that is, they're not an athlete, they're not a creative, they're like working in an insurance company. Would you guys have a recommendation that you should always showcase your personality? People should know more about you and who you are, and maybe even your vulnerabilities, because you'll not only be able to connect with your clients and your stakeholders, your people a lot more, and your leaders, but you're just going to be like, I don't know, people are going to be able to connect with you and want to see you succeed at the end of the day.
I think in our society, you want to go?
no, you go.
In our society, like we're all, especially as guys, like we're always told to like not share emotion and be vulnerable. I only started doing this, like I feel like in the last few months, to be honest. And it's like made such a huge difference of actually having these conversations, just like being more vulnerable and like sharing emotion. Because generally, like if we're speaking, like I'm not gonna like tell them if I'm sad or not happy.
Yeah.
Like once you break through, and the reason I'm saying is once you break through that barrier and can be comfortable to share with anyone anything you're thinking, like things will change for you dramatically. Because not only gonna have more respect for you, but that open conversation is now there, and they're gonna see a different side of you. So that person sitting and working a 9 to 5 or grinding, like if you have an idea, you should share it with your boss, or your colleague. You shouldn't hold it back. Whether you think it's bad or good, share it. Let them know you're confident enough to share that. So in the future, if you have something good, you can continue to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna just clarify from that statement, do you mean it more? Do you mean it more like online, or do you mean it just in general?
It could be in person. It could be online.
Yeah, yeah.
It could be both.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we are afraid to share our personality,
Yeah.
our vulnerabilities, who we are, our weaknesses, our wins. Like just at work, we tend to just, we just, especially in a remote work world,
Yeah.
we're like, we don't connect with people anymore. So we're just like,
Seriously.
it's more about the work than anything else.
And it's tough because there's so much judgment.
Yeah.
There can be so much judgment.
Yeah.
100%.
Like you just said, sometimes I don't share wins.
Yeah.
Because like
Bro,
in my mind, I'm just like, oh, like,
I'm barely sharing.
you know what I mean? Yeah, like, I don't know. So, and you know me, I'm on social media. I share a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of things I don't share, and I don't know what it is. I think it's just because like it's society.
Yeah.
There's so much judgmental and things happening.
Yep.
I think just being comfortable. Like I think I don't share anything in the first place. I'm trying to like change that, but I think being comfortable to share.
I saw that you were for a week. You were sharing like
Yeah, I was just like sharing.
Yeah, you did go.
and I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, hey, and I'm
like
like
TikTok, too.
quiet. yeah, TikTok. No, honestly, it's so fun. Like, it's so fun, and I think also what kind of made me realize is also. So I was sharing some wins, but I was like, why do I want to share wins? Why don't I want to share like just regular stuff or things that are not working out? And I think maybe that everyone doesn't want to. Everyone wants to look cool. Everyone wants to be like, oh, like I'm a likable person, I'm doing cool shit. But I mean, I think on a day-to-day basis, I think most people associate with the regular stuff. And I don't know. I feel like just sharing in general, like the personality thing. Like I do agree with you. Not everyone, from a online perspective. Some people have it difficult to do that. Like it's weird to do that because I don't know what's. Because we're not like born into it. Like you kind of learn it along the way, and I think by having support system that kind of like fuels you to do it, maybe allows you to be more open about it and kind of say.
Yes.
So I think it's just one of those things that if you're passionate about it and you just kind of like do it slowly and you just get better at it. I mean, I don't know.
So this actually brings up my next topic, which I wanted to bring up with you because you actually IG posted it or whatever, which is the idea that nobody cares about your L's or W's. Nobody cares about your L's or W's. The typical, I guess the typical life of an entrepreneur is that they go through all these different L's. Right? They go L, and then at some point they get a W, and then they're like, once they get a W, then they start something new, and maybe that's an L, and then they get a W, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, but with my close friends, my true friends, they don't care about my L's, they don't care about my W's. We don't even talk about any of that. We just talk about, life and philosophy and ideas, and they're interested in my growth. Not in like what the hell I'm doing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I feel like we don't see that because sometimes we'll see an L and be like, oh my God, other people are looking at me like I have an L. But why did that resonate with you? I'm just curious because you and I appreciate you promoting, amplifying that.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing. I think we have the same feeling. Like that's how my friends have been. That's how the family's been. But it all comes back to exactly what you just said. It's more so about you as the individual. Right? Like all this short stuff. Oh, we released shoes. We did this. We won TBT. Like that's all fun stuff. But what it comes down to, especially with the family, is okay, like how are you? What about you? Like what did you grow this year? What did change for you this year?
Yeah.
As opposed to like you made this amount of money or you did this brand deal. They just want to make sure like mentally and I guess physically, like as an individual.
Yes.
And that's only for the family and close friends.
Yes.
I think everyone else is praying for your
downfall.
Which is like actually really sad, but like I always speak
It is.
about this. Is like there's just not support there, and I think social media amplifies that because, like you said, tomorrow I can go post a picture of me in a Lamborghini, and then people will be, oh, this guy bought a Lamborghini. It's gonna change their perspective of me.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like it's so easy to kind of manipulate things on social media.
Right.
Where like, and then now that I'm trying to be more vulnerable, I'm gonna pass you the mic, but like I posted this video a couple weeks ago, like asking people, are you happy? It was the first time I was vulnerable on social media, and that was that video out of all the videos in my like 10 years of making content was the highest video I've ever had people reach. I had over 100 people DM me being like, I felt that, or like, yo, like this is how I feel.
Wow.
Like for one video, that's like a lot. Like I had so many people just being like, I like really resonated with that. Like, thank you. Wow. And it just makes me think what you said. It's like there's so many of us not sharing how we feel.
Yeah.
And then it stems to mental health problems, stems to all this other stuff. It's like, man, how do we just get people to be like, yo, just talk or just share something? But it's tough.
Yeah.
Social media is a scary place.
So wait a minute. You put out a post saying, are you asking the
I
question?
filmed this video, which is like literally right here.
Yep.
And I just ask people like, you know, like, are you happy?
Yeah.
Like, what are you going through in life right now? And like, are you genuinely happy with yourself? Because
Yeah.
I've been in a spot a couple months ago, like wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And I finally told Ambika and stuff that I was going through certain things.
Yeah.
And she was just like, yo, like, let's talk more and let's share it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And me making that video weird, because I'm really weird. Like when I make content, I feel better about certain
Interesting.
things. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like my voice got out
Yeah,
there.
it's almost like therapy.
It's like therapy for me.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
like some people saw that, and all these people hit me up. I'm like, oh, this was like a great therapy session.
Love it.
Like I want to do more, and I was helping them.
Yeah.
You know? So it was a little bit long winded, but
Yeah, man, that was beautiful, man. I was like, damn, am I happy?
no, seriously, it's like a big
Yeah.
thing. Like content creation. Like think about the cycle that we're in.
Yeah, yeah.
You're traveling everywhere. It's nonstop content. You got to handle employees, and you have to handle deadlines and deliverables. There's
Yeah.
so much happening.
Yeah.
And your life is crazy because you also have kids. Like we're just still like chilling. Like, you know, we
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have
yeah.
like,
No, yeah,
a family
You
yet.
got so much to
So
go.
you have so many more responsibilities in a sense. Like sometimes I just think about like, are we actually happy? Like the rat race that we're chasing, the dollars we're chasing, the brand deal, this, that. What makes us happy? Though?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's actually a great point because like I always talk about the pursuit of happiness as like a goal, right? Which is kind of like this anomaly, this like weird thing that you're trying to do. And I always like think about your comment of like no one gives a shit about what you post, right? Which is why I started posting. I was like, you know what? If no one gives a shit, then and then I started even thinking I'm like technically the people that follow me are just like acquaintances or friends or close friends that I've acquired, you know, on this earth. And it's kind of like, well, those people technically like they'll either support me or hate me no matter like what I do. But that's not really like I'm not really doing it for them. And then I started thinking, I'm like, well, what am I doing it for? Like, well, I think like on a macro level, I think I just want to share for the fun of it. Like there's ideas to find like other people who would either benefit from it or build a community that we can all like learn from each other and kind of just like break barriers because like back then everything was gated, like almost like the entry point to certain things was so much harder. And I feel like now collectively we can always build more things and then, you know, more collaboration, more ideas that can spark from it. Like in a way, I would rather start zero, like when none of my friends follow me. Just start just like, and then just like kind of like share things just because be like, hey, this is my journey, and then start building that kind of thing along the way while being vulnerable and like sharing everything, like not just like, oh, we made it, like, hey, we tried to do this, it didn't work, this is the outcome of it, this is what we learned, and then you move on, like, and then that's I think how it becomes more organic, and people maybe might relate to it more, associate with it more.
Do you I'm just curious. Do you ever find it odd when some of your close friends, you know, you're doing something that's important or you're doing something that's big, and your close friends like they're just you know that it's like it's not that they're missing it, and maybe social is just like you never know what someone is doing on the other side of it, right? Because they might be with their kids or whatever. But are you always like wondering, like, where's the love on this, man? Like, where's your support? But I thought you're my homie. Like, where's your support on it, right? And I don't. Do you guys ever feel that? Like, you know, you just can't. Like, you're always doing crazy things, right? You and likewise, right? Burger Baron, all the things that you guys are involved with. Are you sometimes like, yo, where's the love from? You know, the person that's supposed to be 10 deep in my contact list. Oh wow!
I'll say yeah. I'll just say yes.
Okay.
I always just tell people like you don't have to send me a message, text, or call me. Just react with an emoji on the story or something.
Interesting. Yeah.
Just something basic. And that's why I do to a lot of my friends now. Like, when my friend just got posted on Adidas, I just like send her a quick fire emoji.
Yep.
She's like, "Yo, thank you so much for supporting me." Because some people get it. Like,
just like
instead of me
quick,
just
like,
scrolling
just like a
past
heart,
all the stories, if I see something, just like be thoughtful enough to just react. Because like you don't know how much that could affect that person who might have 0 messages.
Yeah.
Right.
The whole day. And like you said, that could have been my most important day of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's a weird balance, but it's like also like what can you say? Because you can't expect everyone to support you 24/7. You don't know what they're doing.
100%. And most people are not sharing their stuff on social media. But I was just curious to see if you ever look back and be like, yo,
I personally, I feel like I don't really like value like the validation from social media from close friends. Like I don't know. I feel like once I build that relationship with someone, I feel like whether they support, I don't know, maybe there's just been like, they were away, they were traveling, or I don't know, they were in their own little world. Maybe they're having a shitty day. They didn't see like whatever I posted or I'm doing. I mean, I barely even post, but for me, it's like different. Like, so I have a different perspective on it.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like just like a simple check-in. I don't even care about the post. Like, yo, like, how are you doing, man? Like that to me is more than like what I've built or whether I'm like, you know, like just won the Oscars or not,
100%.
right?
So, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just gonna
No.
say I feel like as social media grows and the times change, it's becoming harder and harder to have like proper connections with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's actually where the issue stems from. Like, I would love.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm actually hesitant to like call someone. I know it sounds weird, but like sometimes I'm just hesitant. Like, man, what if they don't pick up? Like, what if like they don't want to talk? Because also some people may not want to talk, or some people don't want to. They prefer a text message.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just like I feel like social media is making it harder and harder to have this type of
Yeah.
connection. Where like, yeah, it would be sick just to like, and we call it, but like just to call someone close friend. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I just saw you did this. Like that's dope. Like,
Yeah.
we should
Yeah.
go grab drinks. But it's like it's tough.
You know
Yeah.
what? I think the outcome of this is that if you see someone doing something cool, send a message, because it goes a long way.
Yeah.
Number two, actually, don't be afraid to call somebody. Call somebody.
Yeah.
There's so many people that I've called throughout my life. They're like, "Hey, I'm really glad that you called." Like, and in a world where everyone's just texting and everyone's just through, just like liking each other's stuff on
Yeah,
social
yeah.
media.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, to break through that in a call, I think is really important.
Totally.
Or
I agree.
just meet somebody in person.
I say even send like a little video, like just record a like 10-second
Yeah,
video,
yeah.
and send it.
Yeah, yeah.
Even a voice note.
I love voice notes.
Yeah,
man.
people hate voice notes, but I think they're great.
I love it.
Okay, so on this, it's funny because we got really sentimental, but
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
this next piece actually is the opposite of that. I've been really
Checking
I
on
don't know
the
if you,
people.
I don't know if you guys have been doing this, but I been loving this Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary that just came out on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, I heard
and
about
I love
it.
Arnold because Arnold is somebody that has essentially disrupted himself 3 times. He became the GOAT of bodybuilding.
Yep.
Then he was like, I'm going to go back to 0. Then he became the GOAT of acting. Then he went back to 0. Then he became the GOAT of politics, right? And so he
I mean, I don't know
just
if it's the
keeps
GOAT, but-
excelling at all these different fields, which is incredible. And I was watching the movie, and it was like it's like my book was just like that was the documentary. One of the things I thought was interesting in the documentary was he always picked sort of actually he always picked a fight with somebody else. So
Okay.
in the movie, he actually picks a fight. This is the concept and framework.
Okay.
Which is, and you let me know if you think this is a powerful concept or framework. It's picking a fight with a fellow colleague or peer. In Arnold's case, he picked a fight with Sylvester Stallone. Not a real fight,
Yeah.
but he picked a fight with somebody in his own head, with somebody that was on his level. Sylvester was doing all these action movies. He was becoming a star in his particular field. And then Arnold was also doing action movies. And he didn't really like Sylvester. It's not like they did anything together. But just like
Maybe it was a
watching
competitive-
him, and,
that
he,
competitive
and
night,
Arnold
yeah.
said that if it wasn't for Sylvester, like I wouldn't be able to push myself in these different areas. So the question for you guys is that, have you ever sort of consciously or subconsciously, even if that person doesn't know it, sort of picked a fight with them? And did you find it valuable?
I think subconsciously I pick fights with people probably all the time.
Okay.
Because like I'm competitive,
And
by
it's competitive.
nature.
Yeah.
I'm just competitive by nature. Like I want to like match or be better or just like use that as fuel. Like even like when I see you, it's like that's fuel for me. It's,
Yep.
like, it's so exciting to see how much you're creating and how much I'm not creating.
Yeah,
Like, what
which
you're-
is the opposite,
Yeah.
which is crazy because I'm like, this guy, I'm dead. I can't pick a fight with this guy. He's creating so
But you know
much.
what I mean? I feel like it's just subconscious stuff and it's just like healthy competition. I thought the same thing with Arnold.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like who can I like look towards and be like, okay, he's probably doing more than me right now. I need to attain that
And-
level or surpass it.
Yeah.
You know, I obviously mentioned Arnold. I forgot to mention that this has happened throughout history where, Gates, Steve Jobs, and Bill Gates.
Same thing. Messi,
Michelangelo, Messi,
Messi,
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
Exactly. Exactly.
Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah.
Like epic competitive battles, and they fueled each other.
Yeah.
They made each other better because of that.
Yeah.
So is it healthy to pick a fight?
100%.
You think so?
100%. It's
Hey,
the
do you do this with other filmmakers or other creatives or?
Yeah, I think it's funny because like I am competitive even when we play Catan. I'm
yeah,
just
it's
like
kinda competitive,
I
for
was like,
sure.
bro, I'm hella competitive. Like I know where my strengths are. So like for example, like I mean, I wish I was a soccer player. I would love to compete with like the Messi, Ronaldo level. There's no way on hell I can ever get there. But anyways, I'm saying like knowing your strength and then finding like who's in your field. But I don't think I have picked someone in my mind to be like, oh, this is like the person who's pushing me. But I subconsciously do it. I subconsciously do it because I want to be better. I want to like be at the level of the greats in a way because I feel like why not?
Right.
Like you
It's
know what I
healthy for
mean?
sure.
Like why not? Like the only way to grow is by looking at the ones who are better than you. You know,
Right.
you learn from them.
Yep.
To you get inspired by them. It's actually like it's actually an inspiring competitiveness, like jealousy / like you know like you want to just prove that hey I can be at your level if not better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say to that.
I think it's good to have rivals.
Do you have someone?
I think I'm also a competitive person. You know, when it comes to keynotes or particularly in that field or what was
Who's your
consulting.
keynote competitive person? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who I'm.
I'm gonna drop it.
No, there's a lot of
You're
people.
gonna
No,
drop
like,
it.
there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people on my
Just trying to
on
stir
the
some
speaker
shit here.
spotlight roster who are like on who I compete with all the time, and I love them, right? And that's the whole thing is that pick a rival that you can
Exactly.
you
It comes
can
out of
learn
love.
from,
It
right?
comes out of
Yeah.
love.
So
It's
one
not-
guy is Ron Tite. Another woman is Robin Hanley Defoe. They're amazing. One person that like I feel like I don't compete with, but it's funny because people always put us in the same
Here we go.
arena, which is like Hassan Minaj.
Hey.
Because
Yeah.
because I'm also doing a presentation with a screen,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so whenever I'm inspired by him, right?
Yeah.
I wrote about him in my book as well. I'm inspired by what he's doing, like his specials with his screens. Like I'm inspired, even though I've been doing it. And a lot of people are like, hey, that's like him. Like, nah, I've been doing this for a long
that's
time,
like
right?
me, yeah.
So I'm inspired by what he's doing. He's pushing the envelope of it,
Yeah.
and and he doesn't even know that. But I sometimes feel like, oh, like this is somebody that people compare me to, and there's a rivalry that he doesn't know about that I'm like, he's inspiring me at the end of the day. But yeah, at the end of the day, I am a competitive person. I want to be better. I look at other people and what they're doing, but I also want to be like, hey, I don't want to play the same game that they're doing. Like I want to figure out and get inspired by other people that are outside of my field. I want to know what rock stars are doing. I want to know what athletes are doing and content creators. And so, I think having rivals is important, but also it's I just don't know because you can go down a spiral too. You can look at somebody else and be like, damn,
Right.
I'm getting my ass kicked. It's not working out. Somebody sent me an email. And I really appreciate them sending the email. I didn't know that I was his rival, but he sent me a email.
Wow.
He's like, hey, I see a lot of your stuff that you're doing. I see the love that you're getting from these agencies, and the natural tendency is I am jealous. He says I am jealous, but I love what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing, and you continue to inspire me. So keep it up. And I thought that was such a cool thing for him to do, to admit that he was jealous, but also to be vulnerable enough to be like, you're inspiring me to be better, and you're pushing me to be better. That's really, really cool.
I like that. A lot of confidence from his side too.
100%.
It's great.
100%. And
I think that not many people can do that. To be
I
honest
don't
with you,
know.
yeah,
A very small amount of people
yeah.
would
Yeah.
ever do that.
100%.
know?
And I think, I should think that about a
Yeah.
little bit more.
Yeah,
That he
me
sent-
too. I'm like
that he-
reflecting on
that he sent that note.
I don't think I ever get
I
something
don't
like
think-
that. That's a very unique thing.
I must have like talked like about it before. I'm like, man, like this person, like I think we could do better than that. Like to my brother,
yeah.
but I
But
would
to email that
but to
person
like go out of my
and
way and
tell
be
them
like,
that.
yo,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I respect.
Kudos to that guy, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I guess you guys agree then you should
Fully
pick up
agreed.
Pick
I
a
think
pick a
so.
fight.
As long as you're confident, you can keep it healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's out of growth, out of love, and out of respect. I think.
Yep.
Right. So the last framework concept is this idea that the best are everywhere and they're most likely hidden. The best are everywhere, but they're most likely hidden. I am fascinated with this idea that there are diamonds in the rough that you don't even know. Like we talked about Nikola Jokic. The fact that he came from Serbia and maybe somebody picked him up somewhere. He went in the second round of the draft and somebody just gave him a chance. Like he could have been like a doctor in Serbia or he was riding horses in Serbia. Yet
Seriously.
somebody picked him out.
Yeah.
And just through happenstance, he got into the NBA and now he's going to become one of the greatest players of all time. And it was only through luck that happened. Somebody picked this guy out of nowhere. And you think about so many creatives and artists and talented people around the world that they could actually be the GOAT in their particular fields, but they don't have the right look, the right lens, and so it's this idea that the best are everywhere, but they're just hidden. And I don't know, it's called like the butterfly effect. Like one thing leads to another thing, another
the
thing,
buildup.
and then somebody comes out of nowhere. What do you guys think about this? That the idea that maybe even the best basketball player in the world is actually not in the NBA. Maybe the best singer on the planet is not on the charts at all.
I fully agree with this.
I 100% agree.
It's
with
also
this.
something we've been talking with India Rising, the team. We've talked about this concept
Okay.
of like we only know like 30 or 40 of these guys right now.
Right.
But there's got to be guys out there that we just haven't seen. Maybe they don't have social media. Maybe they don't know what they're doing, or they haven't contacted us, or we haven't found them. That are going to be probably way better than everyone we know right now. It's that same concept you're talking about. It's like, look, what Jokic was interesting because there's a guy in Serbia that picked him out, like you said.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, I see something here with this kid. Let's coach him. Let's train him." That guy didn't know at that time this guy was going to be
100%.
worth $500 million, whatever, MVP of the league. But that's what it takes. Like, and you talk about the butterfly effect of like, there's so many amazing people around us, but they're not going to ever catch their break. Their lucky break, like how Nikola did.
Yep.
And that's what makes the world so interesting. There's all these amazing experts around us. We'll never know them. We'll never meet them. They'll never actually be heard of. But they might be the best person in the world
At that particular
at that
craft.
particular thing. And what does it come down to? Is it just luck? Is it bad luck? Is it something else like karma? Like there's so many things that could attribute to that. But I feel like that's what makes the world so unique also.
So I guess is it easier today because of content and social media?
I was just gonna say that.
To
It is.
get
Yeah,
more
100%.
lucky?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I think like back then and still to this day, there's a lot of gatekeepers, and like you're at the mercy of someone telling you like, yes, we're gonna invest in you, we're gonna put in that money into that. But I think there's a lot of talent out there who like maybe don't show it. Like they're not confident enough, but they have like they're actually true superstars, and they've missed out on those opportunities. And with the social media, with the democratization of online, essentially being able to put stuff there and being able to vocalize whatever you're passionate about, I think there's a better
greater
chance. Better chance. But we're always at the mercy of other people in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like, people are going to like sign you off, like whatever, like luck or whatever.
Connections.
Yeah. I mean, like if like you guys are opening up doors for India Rising to potentially someone to like, hey, I'm here, but that person has to knock in there, and that person like maybe doesn't even have internet. They don't even have like, you know what I mean? Like, so, but at the end of the day, at least like what I love about nowadays is like we're in a way like enabling things and helping others to have like to find those superstars and give them a platform and like in like empower them to become the best versions of who they are. In a way, that's kind of like what I would love to do with my social media. Is like in a way like it's a community of like other creatives who we're all gonna like potentially build like something beyond like networks and like become like essentially $1 billion empire. Like just because like we empower them to tell them, yeah, you are great, just keep doing it.
You know what? And the reason why I'm bringing this up as the last topic is because I really feel that we are hidden. Me, you,
For sure.
Mazen,
Yeah.
No, for real.
Adam,
Yeah.
are hidden. And the world has not seen what we all can do right now, right? And we're starting to break through, but the world doesn't see it yet. And I get so many messages from people like on like YouTube, like, yo, why does this not have, yo, you should be getting more followers or views. And all I tell myself is just like, just wait, right?
That's
Because
the biggest compliment, to be honest
yeah,
with you.
no, and I always like, there was a line that my uncle told me that he told somebody else. He said, he told somebody else, he's like, hey, do you know Shawn Kunigo? She was like, no, I never heard of him. And then he said, you will.
Damn.
No.
That's powerful.
And, obviously I'm trying to make an impact with the keynotes, with the book, with this podcast. Like, I really do want to make an impact. It is actually, I am incentivized for more people to hear me, to see me. And right now, I feel hidden, but I'm so inspired by it.
Bro, I'm inspired right now.
I feel like I'm in the cave and I'm just building. And in like 5 years, somebody's gonna look back and be like, "Oh my God,
Seriously,
like this guy's been building.
What
is this library?
It's just gonna explode.
What is this incredible library?" And I'm not getting romantic about the outcome of when that happens, but I'm just excited about the process because I believe, like, just working with you, Mo, and Mazen, like, you guys are operating at a world-class level. I was telling Deepa the other day, who was I telling the other day about you, man? I'm like, this guy, Navin, he's an assassin, man. This guy's a world-class operator. And I will say, I don't want to gas you up too much, but like, dude, I have worked with leaders across the world. I worked at Deloitte, working with hundreds and thousands of great partners and like A+ people. Man, you are a world-class operator. So you look at a guy like, Mazen, just his level of detail, like, man, just
I've been telling these guys for years how good they are, dude.
So, man, I'm just saying the
sure.
best are everywhere. And they are sitting here. And I'm so inspired that we all got together and we're building this together.
Yep.
Because in 5-10 years, somebody's going to look at this pod and be like, damn, he predicted it.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel like, I just want to say, I feel the exact same way as you. Our time is coming. It's not going to be today, this year, or tomorrow, but it's coming soon. And like you said, we're all like, I like that. You're building a crazy catalog in the cave.
Yep.
Like, we're all doing that in a unique way to like hopefully get that opportunity, that chance one day to like get to that next stage or get out of the cave.
Exactly. Exactly. So with that, listen, wow, what an inspiring pod, dangerous ideas. Listen, if you want to subscribe, rate, review, follow this pod, we're going to be pumping out more episodes, lots of episodes to come for the next 10 years at least. So
signing that 10-year contract today. Here we go.
Saudis again. If you're
watching,
the
revenue share.
She's like, damn, man, 10.
Oh, by the way, shout out to Neve, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, shout out to
always
Neve,
the BTS people,
producing the pod. All right. See you later.